I'd like to revisit an old school notion today, the idea of face-to-face communication. The types of communication like nonverbal, interpersonal, small group, public speaking, the kinds we do in front of real live people, aren't going anywhere. Breaking new ground in communication means revisiting the ways we use technology and reconsidering where that face-to-face communication still fits. Now, before you claim I'm a Luddite or a technological determinist and start to daydream, hear me out. I love technology. I just think it's important to still consider the face-to-face communication in the mix. So I have two ideas and a short story for you. The first idea is this. I believe technology is not completely positive or completely negative or completely neutral. In that same way, our communication devices can't be completely positive or completely negative or also completely neutral. What's going on in our highly saturated and mediatized environment? Well, for one thing, we're forgetting to talk to each other in person. Our reading has changed and our writing has changed. How has our oral communication changed? So the second thing I'd like to think about when I think about breaking new ground in communication is thinking about the new social platforms and the new kind of technologies out there and where they really fit in the context of face-to-face communication. Now, that brings me to the idea of public speaking. You know, that thing that provokes anxiety in more than 20% of people. And I am a public speaking teacher. So I might have been that person that caused you anxiety when you were in high school or in college. One of the reasons why films have great speeches in the narrative is because speeches move people. Who can forget that battle speech in the movie Braveheart? And I have a few coaches' speeches that I really like, so I'd like to share them with you. The first is from the movie Miracle, about the 1980 Olympic hockey team. That coach gets in there and says, "Great moments are born from great opportunity." Who couldn't do a good job then, right? One of my other favorites is the movie We Are Marshall. The coach says, "This is your opportunity to rise from the ashes and grab glory." And there are dozens and dozens more. Speeches are embedded in films because they're still an important part of our society and really a wonderful way to communicate. So this brings me to my story. When I was in high school, my mother suggested I go to a local college to hear a lecture. Well, I was captivated by the content of this speech, and it helped me pick my college major. So you might have had that experience as well, that experience of being swept up by a speech or having it change your life. But here's my worry. I'm noticing in my classroom, my students don't have as much public experience when they get to me. They mumble. They don't have great eye contact, and that worries me. I'm also noticing that my students haven't had a lot of experience working in group projects. So they haven't had that experience of watching that person's nose wrinkle up when they don't like your idea. Or that experience of feeling like a 1980s movie where everybody works together and gets the job done. So consider this. Many of the big deals occur face-to-face. Making change in our community often means getting up in front of people at an open meeting and speaking articulately to advocate for change. Premature infants, after they're born, are cuddled and held so they can feel that nonverbal communication of humanity, and they grow and thrive faster. Disaster relief goes much better when the person getting up to the megaphone knows how to speak to either the victims or the volunteers. And political stump speeches are still popular and used by most every politician, from the 5th grade would-be student council president to leaders of most every country. Sherry Turkle, who is an author and a professor, has coined the phrase being alone together as a way of explaining when everybody gets in a room together with their devices and nobody utters a verbal word, but they're talking with each other. Tech bloggers tell us to find an offline hobby. And commercials talk about how parents are upset because they don't have eye contact with their children. We have to leave that either-or mentality and develop a yes and philosophy. Yes, we can use our technology, and we also have to use our face-to-face communication. This old school skill becomes very handy if the electricity goes out. Thank you.